Hey, what's up, guys? It's Eric with Plugged In Recovery. This week we are at our brand new house, the Kierland House, up here in Scottsdale, Arizona. We're going to be doing our first resident of the week up here with Bryce. Bryce, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Bryce. So sobriety date is May 15th. I was in a state-funded sober house in Milwaukee for a couple months. I got some family down here. Milwaukee just wasn't working for me. I went back to Alaska for a minute. I was just searching around, and someone made that suggestion, Plugged In. I gave Wade a call, and very quickly he sold me on like what the program was, how the houses were set up. I made some other phone calls the other day. This felt like the right place to be.
Cool, man. Well, we're super happy to have you. Why don't you just kind of get into a little bit deeper as far as what brought you here and what's life's been like since you moved into the house?
Yeah, really what brought me here is just, going to sober living was kind of that next option. I tried in the past outpatient, I tried inpatient, coming out inpatient and going back out, not really having that foundation and not having that accountability when I went back out. So it just never worked for me. So sober living was brought up to me, and I'd always avoided that idea. I was like, no, this is good enough. And then, I should probably do the same here. And then, I just felt like I needed to go somewhere afterwards and just keep building on the foundation. That's what sober living kind of what I was told it was going to offer me. And so, I came down here, and then I had to go back up to Alaska. I was actually in a relationship at the time with my current ex-wife, and another definition of insanity. Keep trying to make that relationship work, and nothing changed. And I went back to Alaska with her to kind of finalize some stuff, and I was up there, and it wasn't working again either. And I just I got to that point 3 months into my sobriety where, I remember sitting in the staircase. It's like, I can't do this relationship anymore. I'm either going to, I'm going to have to drink or I'm going to kill myself. Like, it was just so chaotic, the same chaos. And it just reminded me of being back using, that same spot where I don't know how to either, it's either get loaded, get sober, or kill myself. And I felt like I was in that position. So I was like, I'm going to head back to Phoenix early. We have a daughter together, so I decided to stay down here. I didn't want to be in Alaska anymore. Decided that if I'm going to go back to Phoenix, I'm going to go back to sober living. And I was flying here a bunch, so I already had a sponsor. Even before I left Milwaukee, a guy I met at the program down in Chandler, he asked me if I sponsored before I got here. So I was ready to get rolling as soon as I got here. But I was in Alaska, did the research. I talked to Wade. I talked to the program that Wade went through when he was getting sober, and what he had told me is that he built this program based off his own experiences, and this is what it had to offer. Financially, it was pretty viable to start, even though my sponsor did pay my first month of rent, and I owe him a debt that probably could never be paid. But he just told me what Plugged In was all about. And I didn't know much, but what he was saying sounded like it was going to work for me. But I had to come down here and check it out.
Sweet, man. Well, we're super happy that you're able to find it and make it work. Since being in the houses, a big part of our program here is just getting you plugged into the community, giving you resources so when you do move out, you have a community around you to maintain sobriety. What's your experience with that?
It's been great, like reaching out. I've talked with you a few times. I've talked with Wade. Like, I got down here, I was leaving my sober volleyball back in Milwaukee, sober softball. So I came down here and said, I need to get into that. That's crucial for my recovery. Keeps me doing something I love, keeps me around sober people. So, he mentioned the volleyball over at Kiwanis Park. I'm there almost every Monday from 8 to 10. So if anybody else sees this, man, Kiwanis Park, 8 to 10 every Monday, year round. It's great sober fun. It's great community. So get involved with that. I've got some contacts for softball. That's a big part of the fellowship. Plus I had the opportunity to check out the Cotton Fever meeting. I know that's ran. Just actually, me and Graham went down there a little bit ago. So that was Monday. Oh. So I missed volleyball for that meeting. Unfortunately, it was pretty cold, but. So I thought that'd be a good substitution. So yeah, I went down, and that was great. Again, everybody's wearing Plugged In shirts, so I see the Plugged In fellowship there. So it's been great, man. The house is supportive. Again, I love taking guys to meetings. I've got my meetings, so anytime I'm heading out, I'm running around the house. Hey, leaving in 20 minutes. So I try to keep my truck packed. And that's what's great about this. Like, we kind of support each other's recovery in that way. Like, we're all here for the same thing. Everybody's not on their own page. We have our own stuff to do, and we're trying to figure out our own life and get back on our feet ourselves. But when it comes to sobriety, everybody kind of comes together and find out what's going to work best for the house, usually what works best for everybody else.
Right. And for anybody watching this that might be on the fence about going into sober living or is having a hard time getting back into recovery after a relapse, would you have any words of encouragement or advice for them?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a place for you when you come back. And that's that big thing too, that fear of going and coming back and starting over and what's it going to look like. I don't want to go through all that. And that was the same stuff that I went through. I was terrified. I mean, thankfully, when I finally was forced, basically, I ran out of money, ran out of dope. I was stuck making that decision, and I had to go to a psych ward because I didn't know what my brain was thinking. And then I ended up in a sober, a sober facility. Went right from detox to sober facility, and it wasn't the best facility, but it gave me some perspective. But I did my time there. I wasn't ready to leave until I was kind of ready to leave. And then when I got down here, I got in, and I'm surprised. Like, we went to a meeting at another sober house. I don't want to name the name, but went to another. They had a meeting at the sober house, and me and one of the other residents went there, and there was it was different. Like, I come here plugged in, and we're taken care of. The house is taken care of. The house is nice. That makes a big deal. Like, I mean, a lot of people want to rush out and get their own place. This is that good transition where you get to learn, how to make your bed again, how to do your dishes, and all those things that we weren't doing when we were out there actively using. I know my room, my laundry wasn't done. So I learned how to find that responsibility again. I've got other people who support me. I've got other people to hold me accountable to make sure I'm making my bed. That's one of the big things they talk about, is start with that morning routine. And so having someone kind of remind me that is important today, it is a big part, and that's going to build onto other stuff. It's the simple stuff that kind of makes it, the bigger stuff work. I want to get that car. I want to be able to pay my bills on time.
Right.
If you can't make your bed on time first, then I don't know how I'm going to make that bill payment every month. So.
Right, man. And that's really good. I'm glad you touched on that. Now, to kind of wrap it up here, it is the holiday season, and we like to focus on gratitude in this time of the year. What are some things that you're grateful for this holiday season?
And I talked about the meeting. Obviously I got to say the program, the fellowship. I mean, it's again, the promises are just on my mind every day. That amaze before we're halfway through, and I barely touched the surface. And how things are at here, almost 7 months, is amazing. I couldn't have guessed that. And I've got that relationship back with my family. I'm grateful for my family too. I got to beat my dad in ping pong last night. At a family dinner, and it wasn't a year ago where we couldn't even sit alone with each other at a table, right? It was just, the relationship was so much damaged, but now we could play ping pong, have laughs. We go to the hockey game now. I never thought that relationship would ever get rebuilt, and it has. I got to show up for my sister, like being able to say I'm going to do something and then actually follow through and do it. Like, that's new. That feels good. Like, I'm not used to that. I'm used to having to run out to go, find money, find dope. And so now I can be accountable. I can say what I'm going to say and do what I say I'm going to say. So it's, that's awesome. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for Plugged In. I wouldn't have any of these opportunities, without finding a good, stable living. And I'm happy here. Like, would I love to get my own place? That would be great, but like, I'm able to put a plan in place that says, not until you hit these goals, financially, find the right place, make sure that I'm stable, find a place that still has a way for me to work accountability into it. So, if my plan is 3 to 6 months to be in here after the first, I'd like to be total of 6 to 9 months. And if it takes longer, it takes longer, but at least I know I've got comfort here. And it's a great place to stay, man. I wish every sober living was like this. I think a lot of other people will get sober, and it's just the Hotel Hilton right now compared to some of the places. But other than just the living conditions, the fellowship that's involved, how the Wades are involved, how you're involved, and everything. I mean, that brings this whole program full circle. So it's not just a house, man. This is a small community here where we're supporting each other, and we're all here for the same goal. And that kind of makes every day special when you get home.
Love that, man. Well, I mean, we appreciate you kind of sitting down and sharing a little bit with us. Congratulations, Resident of the Week, man.
Yeah, I'm just hearing about that, so.
There you go. Look at that. We put him on the spot and he delivered, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Bryce. Congratulations again, and thank you guys. We'll see you next week.